The mics are hot, and so's the gossip. Let's get into it in 3. Welcome to In 3. I'm Danielle Graham.
And I'm Callie.
And once again, this week has given us so much to talk about. Aren't we the luckiest?
The gossip gods are in our favor these days.
They really are. I could not be more happy to have a podcast with you at this very time. The Grammys were on the weekend, and I actually really enjoyed the Grammys. I think they gave us a lot to pay attention to be excited about, a lot to chat about. So the first thing you and I shared in the DMs while watching the show was Jaden Smith and the castle head,
the castle on a cloud.
Did we learn what the statement was behind that, or what he was trying to say with the castle on the head?
I honestly don't think that anything has been revealed. For me, it's like, is the castle hat the new meat dress? Like, I think he's trying to make some sort of statement. Will Smith's kids, I don't know what they do except to show up at red carpets looking a bit odd and very, very beautiful.
Let's go the most outrageous we possibly can, and then just take it a little bit further than that.
Yeah, because then people won't ask questions like, why are you here? They're just talking about the castle on the head.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Yeah.
And of course, Will Smith is persona non grata in Hollywood since the big slap.
Yeah.
This was the first red carpet he was on since the Academy Awards.
Still wild.
Still wild. So now he's back to music.
Yeah.
At whatever age he is, no shade, all good. But like, I just don't see a big music comeback for Will Smith. But his kids, they're definitely trying to help out a little bit.
Yeah, they are. What a way to tiptoe back into that world in a lane that feels safe for Will Smith.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, his kids are not the only ones carrying the load. I feel like Blue Ivy Carter is really coming into her own as a big driving force behind the Knowles Carter brand.
Could not agree more. I look forward to seeing her. I'm excited when I see her. Yeah. She was the first person Beyonce hugged, right, upon winning.
Yes.
Wasn't she? Wasn't that Blue Ivy?
Actually, I think like, we'll get into the whole surprise award of it all, but I think Blue Ivy sort of like nudged her mom and was like, get up. So
leave it to one of your kids to tell you about yourself.
Exactly.
Honestly.
It was such an honest moment.
Yeah.
So a few things about Blue Ivy. On the red carpet before the show, Shabuzi, who collaborated and performed with Beyonce at whatever the football game was over Christmas on Netflix, he actually revealed that Blue Ivy was there while they were rehearsing and she was giving notes.
Blue Ivy. I mean,
so he was calling her a visionary and all kinds of, big props to her creativity. I think what we're seeing is a star being born.
It would almost be weird if she didn't possess the ultimate in creativity.
Right.
It would be strange if she was just like, no, I'm kind of an accountant.
Yeah.
It would be really odd, wouldn't it?
I'm going to go crunch numbers for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
no,
I'm not really into
sense.
Making, creating, groundbreaking, trailblazing. Not really my thing. Yeah.
Now, the other thing I love about that moment when Beyonce, first of all, they had just arrived at the awards. I think I watched the video of them kind of entering and sitting down. It was moments before her name was announced for the best country album.
Right.
And of course, the meme now of Beyonce in complete surprise of winning this award.
Right.
Would you want to do the honors of imitating?
Like, do
this?
my best Beyonce?
Yeah.
Okay, one moment. Give me a second here.
Okay, you go.
It was kind of a...
That's really good.
Was it pretty good?
Yeah.
That was my first attempt.
Here's mine.
Go.
Mine is like this.
That's really good.
She had kind of like a robotic arm, and then Blue nudged her and she went up.
I'm not convinced she was that surprised. I'm actually not. I think so much of she did arrive just in time, sat down just in time. Of course, she's Beyonce, so the chances of winning, I know, historically not always the case, but like, I don't think it was like this full left field situation. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine she was as surprised as she telegraphed.
I see what you're saying, because I think we're so used to Beyonce choreographing every breath, every eye movement, every single thing of her life is so controlled and so choreographed. So that's what we're used to. I do believe she was caught off guard. Remember, she wasn't even invited to the Country Music Awards. She's been really not welcomed into that genre with open arms, as we know. And so I don't think she was expecting this award. And what I loved about the moment, and especially her brand right now, needs a little bit of sweetness, and I think it needs a little bit of authenticity. And what I loved about this is we never see her in an authentic moment. And I personally do believe that this was an authentic surprise for her. And I loved seeing it, and I want to see more of it. Yeah. They have such a tight, closed, cold, and controlled brand. And while I do historically love Beyonce's music, this wasn't my favorite album. I don't love country. I think she should have won for very many previous albums.
Right.
But I do love that we're starting to see a little bit of authentic, natural behavior from her. And I do think Blue Ivy's a part of that.
I think so too. I agree with you. And we've talked about this. Now is the time for authenticity. That's what people want. Yep. People are kind of over the overly perfect and varnished, and everything is so exactly as it needs to be. And I think there's been examples of why it works so well. Look at Kylie Kelsey, for example, like the documentary of her family. The house was not in tip-top shape.
Yeah.
This woman now has one of the biggest podcasts in the world. People were like, I love what you're doing. More of this, please. And Beyonce's never going to show us her house completely undone, but I think there is definitely room for her to give us a little bit more of like who she is.
Do you think Beyonce has things out of place?
No.
Like, what do you think their
one.
morning routine looks like? Like, do you think she's making lunches?
No.
And that there's like chaos?
Like my house?
Like the way that any normie's house is in the mornings with multiple children.
No, I think there's love and hugs and kisses and off to you go. No, she's not opening the lunchbox.
You don't
throwing
think
out
there's
the
like
sweaty cheese from yesterday.
Lunchables everywhere.
Absolutely not. That is a curated, beautiful lunch from professionals. Should we talk about Kanye and his wife Bianca on the red carpet?
Unfortunately, I do think we need to talk about it. So Kanye arrived with his wife Bianca Censori. They, of course, are not strangers to creating mass chaos and controversy.
Yeah.
My thing is like, are we doing a wellness check on Bianca? Like, where is her family? Where are her friends? I feel like this is a highly controlled situation. I don't think I've ever heard her speak. And it was clearly him using her as an opportunity to create hysteria.
Yeah.
And her naked body. And it
vulgar.
Feels really bad.
It does.
But it's not a huge surprise because we saw her naked at the Grammys, but I've seen her naked probably a dozen times before that. She goes to the grocery store like this.
I've seen her more naked than I've seen you naked.
And
I've known you for a very long time.
And I'm okay with that.
That's normal.
That's normal.
I shouldn't be seeing you naked. I have seen Bianca Censori more naked than I've seen you. Okay?
That is a fact. So people were saying that he was actually not invited and that he crashed the red carpet and was escorted out. It turns out that's not the case. He was actually nominated at the Grammys. Nobody knows what for. Nobody really cares because we're kind of over Kanye.
We are, and we're over Kanye, the antics, these kind of stunts. Like, you know, there was a time I thought Kanye was great, way back.
Genius, an absolute genius. I'm actually so
it.
mad at him for ruining it for all of us because I loved his music so much. I was a big fan.
Same. I went to see Watch the Throne. Loved. Now
all
could not care
and
less.
Now I just feel like, yeah, he really blew it for all of us and himself.
Yeah.
It looks like he has a new album that might be coming out this year. So people are saying he's just trying to create buzz. Okay, Kanye, let's see some new tricks. This one is getting old for me.
Yeah, I am pathologically uninterested in what he's doing. And I do feel like if we're talking about Bianca, we should say I'm not laughing at the nudity at all. I think I was sad for her. I was scared for her. People should be checking on her. Is she okay? Because she looked like a woman who's in a very controlling situation.
Yeah.
Who, you know, might need some help because it just didn't, it looked sad and it looked concerning.
Some alarm bells went off
Yeah,
there.
I think so too.
Yeah, and I think it's deeper than just what he wants it to be, which is like, oh my God, crazy Kanye, what the chaos. And it's like, why don't you take off your clothes, Kanye?
Yeah.
Why don't you
get your dick out?
Yeah, he's just so gross.
I can't believe that was... Get your... No, I'm not saying it
That's the
again.
quote of the century.
No, I'm not saying
Danielle is anything but vulgar. So this is a moment. She's mad. You're mad.
I am mad because he exploited his wife in that way and it was awful.
Yeah.
I take it back. Don't get it out, please.
No, we don't. We actually do not want to see that.
Sorry.
But you know what? And his
like
poor children. Like, let's not forget that Kanye is a father.
Yes.
Of course, Kim Kardashian is the mother of his children. And poor Kim trying to co-parent with this moron.
Co-parenting, from what I hear, is not easy to begin with. Co-parenting with Kanye must be just an absolute nightmare.
Nightmare situation.
Yeah.
So kudos to Kim.
Yeah. Shall we line up this week's big three?
Let's do it.
Okay. First, we're going to talk about Taylor, Travis, Super Bowl, sports things and other non-sports things, but that whole relationship and what we've seen and what we're going to see.
Taylor's big day.
Taylor's huge day. And then our second story in the big three, which kind of ties in really nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Kendrick. We have to talk about a bit of the Grammy Kendrick, and then we got to talk about the Super Bowl Kendrick. So we'll kind of sandwich that in.
Yeah.
I love this story.
I do too.
And then, of course, the third story, we have to talk about Blake and Justin and Ryan, and we got to catch up on that story. Although, to be honest, I have fatigue.
I think a lot of us have fatigue with that story, and that's what we've been hearing from people. There's those that are like so into the minutia, which we have been, of course. And now it's just like, oh, I could take a break.
Yeah.
So there's some updates and some stuff to share, but we're not going to go 58 minutes like we did last week on that story.
And I might tease that I've had a slight change of heart.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
So
Ooh.
we will get into that. And then the big we have to talk about is Britney Spears and the biopic.
The biopic that can't come soon enough as far as I'm concerned.
Literally.
I'm so excited at this. And we're learning some things and some little tidbits have been dropped. So we have lots to talk about with this upcoming.
And making some predictions.
And some predictions on, who could be in this movie. All right, let's get into Taylor's big week.
Yes.
So, of course, Taylor very, very present at the Grammys over the weekend.
She made her presence known.
She sure did, in the red dress with the thigh chain, which I did not know that accessory even existed. I know we've done belly chains and there's all kinds of body jewelry. The thigh chain was new for me, unless I'm just really out to lunch here.
No, I don't think the thigh chain has really surfaced in any other.
So it's not mainstream yet
area.
Okay.
I'm understanding, as you know, I'm not a Swiftie,
but
don't come for me. I do respect her, but I'm not a Swiftie in that I don't know these breadcrumbs or whatever, but people are saying that this thigh chain was a reference to some of the lyrics in her songs, as was the color of her dress, as was the color of his tracksuit arriving for the Super Bowl.
Wherever the Super Bowl is being held. I can't tell you where that's happening. I don't know that information.
I think it's New Orleans.
Thank you. Wow. Sports.
But should we fact check that? Because I don't know about sports.
I see you. Okay. Taylor Swift fans do love to see one little thing and then let their imaginations run wild at what that could possibly mean. Yeah. I don't know. The thigh chain is the T for Taylor, is the T for Travis. Who knows? Either way, she made a big statement. She also made a huge statement in the audience of the award show. Nobody was having a better time than Taylor Swift, holding up a bottle of champagne, dancing with Alicia Keys' son, dancing with Gracie Abrams, dancing when no one's dancing. Everyone's just kind of like doing that silent clap thing, looking around. It was a party for one.
Yeah, literally. If you watch the footage of her dancing, it's like no one else is standing.
No.
And she is just having the time of her life, whooping it up.
Yes.
In the middle of the arena, dancing solo.
Yeah, and it's not like she's on the smaller end of the star scale here. She's arguably one of the biggest stars in that room.
Well, she's a big star, and she's also like 5'10", and she was wearing like 5-inch stilettos, so she had to be like 6'3".
Yeah, and did not care. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, that's so cringe. I actually don't think it is. I think anyone who's out to have a good time and enjoy themselves exactly as they want to goes back to that whole thing about authenticity. She had a great time.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes there's people, I see people living like that. Sometimes I'll give you an example. My 5-year-old lives like that. Marigold lives like that. And I'm like, God, I love that you're that way.
Yeah.
That you're just dancing and doing whatever you want. How beautiful. And Taylor Swift's living like a 5-year-old right now. And I think it's so great.
I agree.
Live, dance, have the best time.
Bask in her joy. And as she should. She didn't win any of the awards she was up for. But I loved watching her. This is her move. She always has these dance parties. I thought it was great. It's a good look for her. I also think she's trying to, make sure that people are not talking about her in context of the controversy with Blake Lively. And I think, she's trying to remind people who she is, what she's about.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, she's got lots to celebrate.
That she does. Rolling into this huge weekend.
Yes.
Another Super Bowl that she's going to, which is so wild.
Coincidence?
I mean,
or conspiracy?
If you believe the internet, this whole thing has been scripted.
Well, I love it because I love a conspiracy.
You do.
Like my algorithm is basically puppies, makeup, conspiracies.
Right.
That's literally the world. That's my box that I live in.
I love it.
And when I walked in, and this was actually last week or the week before when the Bills lost, which is, I know, your team.
I have a team. Yep. Thank you.
Your husband was here and he was like, big conspiracy. And I
Yeah.
was like, tell me more. I was like, oh my God, I've never cared more about the NFL now that I know there are conspiracy theories.
There's conspiracy theories that this Super Bowl, the Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl and a win that is going to happen for them, apparently, according to the conspiracy people, is because the numbers are there.
Right.
I mean, the numbers I've read is that Taylor has her influence on the Chiefs has been to the tune of $350 million for that team alone.
Damn.
So the NFL is like, you know what? We really like this. This is really great for us.
Yeah, this is good for business.
And in terms of like the interest from women in sports, like our demographic, our age,
demographic and younger.
40% for our age group alone is like, I'm into football and I'm in the demo. I'm doing the thing. I'm watching sports. So I can see why they're like, she's really good for business.
I will watch this weekend, being Super Bowl weekend. We'll do it together with our friends. And I want to see if what people are saying is the script. So people are saying that the Super Bowl is actually scripted.
Yep.
That they know exactly how it's going to go down to like the play. And he's going to have like a limp after the first quarter. How do they do that?
Both
Okay.
are right.
A
quarter that, quarter half.
Yeah, but like, it's like periods in,
Yes.
I was going to say
Hockey.
golf. Wow. Okay. Not a sporty gal, but so they're going to say he like gets injured, Travis, and goes into the locker room and gives this big motivating speech to his team. Right?
Yeah.
And they're down, and then he comes back and the limp is gone and he saves the day.
Yeah, he scores the winning touchdown and then he proposes.
Oh, right.
Now that for me is a little bit much. I can't. I mean, listen, they like the spotlight. I think he really likes the spotlight.
They both do. I think she loves love more than she loves anything else.
That's so true.
And she loves a fairy tale. She loves love, and I think they don't mind the spectacle. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they got engaged this
You
weekend.
think he's going to drop down on one knee like in the end zone and where are you even going to keep that ring? In those tight pants? There's no space for that.
That's a great point. Although my husband did propose on a run in San Francisco with a ring box in his pocket for the entire run. So anything is possible.
My husband proposed after swimming in the lake, put the ring in a zipper pocket inside a bather.
Randall.
I could, but
Well,
are you surprised though? It's
no,
Randall.
but
So you're right.
That's dangerous.
But yeah, or unless there's going to be some kind of handoff. But can you imagine the end of a Super Bowl and everything is happening and fireworks and confetti cannons and
I can literally picture it.
I mean, I guess I can picture it. And listen, America loves this couple. This
Yes.
is exactly.
This would be giving America exactly what they want.
Who do you think will be with Taylor in this $3 million suite? Last year, Blake was there. Some reports that are saying that Blake and Ryan have been invited to join Taylor in that suite.
That would be a very big statement and a very big favor. Blake's movie, A Simple Favor, this is the opposite of that. This is the biggest favor you could possibly ask for.
I can't see it. I think that Taylor is a stand-up friend. She's given that quote before about you know who your friends are when your stock is down. She's shared that. She's been through that. So I think she is a friend to stand in solidarity. But in this moment, it's actually not about her. This moment is about Travis. And do you want that distraction?
You're right. That would be, I think, a selfish move. You're right, because it would take headlines away from, and if she is going to get engaged, I'm sure she doesn't want to share that spotlight with anyone else.
Right.
I think she's going to go, maybe she'll bring some of her girl crew. Maybe she'll bring like Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, that's possible. Her mom will be there with her. His family will be there. Some reports are saying that Selena and Benny Blanco could be there. Now, that would be fun.
Oh, I love,
Wouldn't that be fun? Newly engaged.
I love this.
And then maybe another new engagement. Yeah, and they would just have a great time. That would be a super fun time. That has to be a good vibes only situation.
I agree.
Moving on to the Kendrick Lamar concert that is happening this weekend.
Yeah,
we are very excited about.
The Kendrick Lamar concert.
That's in the middle of the football game.
In the middle of the football game.
This is coming at such an interesting time. Like the intersection of all of it is so interesting from so many reasons. So Kendrick Lamar, huge weekend at the Grammys.
Yes.
Sweeps.
People
are doing the sweeping.
The most winningest rap track of all time at the Grammys.
And that track is a diss track against Drake.
It sure is.
And people are thrilled about it. Like you saw the audience response.
Yeah, I mean, I have literally never seen a response like that to any performer at the Grammys. Like not Lionel Richie, not Gloria Estefan, not Beyonce. Every single person was on their feet when Kendrick Lamar was announced. Singing, dancing, cheering, cheersing. Do you see the picture of Taylor cheersing him while he was on stage? And singing every single lyric to this track. So for those who don't know, this has like been a pretty big story, but it's more just coming to the mainstream surface now, I think, is that Kendrick and Drake have been beefing. They started to have a rap battle where they were writing songs about each other, and it got pretty heated, and there were some pretty serious allegations in each of the songs that they wrote about each other, like pedophilia, like really dark stuff.
Yeah. It went really far.
And his song that he was now is the most winningest song at the Grammys.
Not Like Us.
Not Like Us was the last track that was written in this battle.
Yeah. And when I saw the response to it from the audience, are they cheering for Kendrick and this big moment and this huge evening with this sweep of all these awards? Yeah. Or are they cheering because it's about Drake?
Because everybody hates Drake.
Drake right now, as a result of this song coming out and being such a massive hit, he's now suing Universal Music Group, who represent both he and Kendrick Lamar, for defamation of character, because he claims that that Universal Music Group promoted this song and pushed this song to reach the top of the charts and to get those extra streams against Drake. He was like, they did this to me, is his take on it. Now, the rap community is calling him a Karen.
Well, I mean, he is acting like a Karen. He's acting like a sore loser. And to be honest, the rap community has kind of been shunning Drake for a long time. Most of them don't consider his music to be rap.
Right.
Actually, Drake himself has said that his music isn't rap. Did you know that it's not just that all the celebrities hate Drake? The Grammys also hate Drake.
They do?
Yeah.
Because
Drake has gone out on a limb calling out the Grammys multiple times. There have been multiple instances where he hasn't actually put his albums forward to be considered for Grammys. He has even gone as far as saying that he wants to create a new award that goes against the Grammys. So the Grammys hate Drake. The celebrities at the Grammys hate Drake. And honestly, the rap community hates Drake.
Nobody likes Drake. Do you know who else hates Drake? Me. I don't like Drake. I'm just going to say it. I don't like Drake.
Say it, Dee.
I'm going to tell you why I don't like Drake.
Tell us.
I know he's been good for the city of Toronto in some ways.
Sure.
My personal experience with Drake was not great. We were set to do an interview with Drake, the previous show you and I worked on, at a restaurant he had in the city. We were set up in the private dining room, elaborate setup for this interview.
Right.
Multiple cameras, lighting.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
We are there for literal hours waiting for Drake.
Idiot.
So we're sitting there and we're hearing, he's going to come. Yeah, maybe. And I'm thinking the whole time, he's not showing up. This isn't going to happen.
Did he no show?
No, he did not show, Cal. He showed. He walked through the front of the private dining area, looked at all of us, sat there, producers, camera people, lighting people, myself, nods in acknowledgement and keeps walking through the space. Now, at the back of the space that we were sitting in was the kitchen area. And I thought, okay, he's just going in to say hello because this is his restaurant and he's going to be nice. No, he never came back.
What?
He just walked on out the back door, walked through, didn't even pause. Like, I mean, was just like at a normal pace, step, walked through, nod, 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 and out the back door. And we're
What?
But we didn't know because nobody said anything. So we're like, oh, okay, he's coming back. He's just, doing his thing.
Surely
or
he's going to circle back.
drop his coat. No. So then comes out a representative of Drake's to say, yeah, no, he's not able to do this interview. And we're like, but he
seems able.
He seems able. He's here. Like, I've been in situations where interviews went, people were not the most pleasant, or people are late, or people don't show. That has absolutely happened.
Yeah.
I've never been in a situation until this one where somebody was physically on site.
In the room.
Saw
you.
Saw this setup and was like, no, I'm going to go out the back
Planned,
door.
I guarantee, months in advance.
Months.
And I'm sorry, weren't you there to promote his shit?
Yeah.
Like,
that was the whole purpose.
It's like, we're not asking you for a favor, sir.
No.
We're here to help you promote. This is like this is when it gets me really fired up about people who treat press and reporters badly. It's like, what do you think we're doing? We're here to press for you.
That's right.
We're promoting you. We are here to serve you.
It is a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
And those that get it, get it. You know that I need something for my show. I know you need this show to promote. No, you don't need it, but it helps promote what you're doing.
It's all a
It
part
is
of the machine.
Symbiotic.
It's a reciprocal relationship.
It is. And I'm sorry, it left a bad taste in my mouth. So, I'm on Team Kendrick Lamar here.
Yeah, I think pretty much the world is Team Kendrick. I think even the people in Toronto who love Drake's music can't really defend him here. And Kendrick, I think when he was announced as the Super Bowl performer, people were like, huh, interesting. Like, usually it's like a Beyonce or a J-Lo or even like the Bruno Mars, people who have, massive likability and cross boundaries of genres and things like this. And so it was a little bit confusing, I think, when Kendrick was like the sole performer. Mm-hmm. But now it all makes sense.
It sure does.
Because Kendrick is Wonder Boy of definitely the week, certainly the month, and everybody is really rooting for him. And I love it.
You know who cannot throw a Super Bowl party on Sunday with all of his friends at his mansion in the Bridle Path? Drake. He can't. He literally has to watch the Super Bowl by himself.
Has anyone checked on Drake? I feel like similarly, we should probably get a wellness check on Drake, make sure he's solid. Like, I don't want bad things for him. I feel like he's very not self-aware, so he's probably fine.
Yeah.
But a normal person would be in bed, like, with Baskin Robbins, right? And just burying their shame and sorrow under a duvet with some ice cream.
He can't he couldn't go to a Super Bowl party. He could, because you don't know what's going to happen within that halftime show. Could there be another song that comes out? Because right now Kendrick can get the last word on this whole thing if he wanted, or another last word on it.
Or does he? Because it was announced today that Drake is dropping his new album on February 14th, which some could see that as a terrible move. You're losing, bro. Like, you're at the very bottom of this game.
Right.
You are losing. Absolute bottom. But Drake is also no dummy. Like, he's a lot of things, but he's not a dummy. So I think he's capitalizing on the fact that he's in the headlines at all. And going to put his album out and announcing it at a time when people are Googling, Drake and Kendrick. And he's going to sort of rise to the top with Kendrick's name at the Super Bowl. And
maybe
some of the headlines you'll see is that he's releasing his album on February 14th. Loverboy strikes again. February 14th release.
Oh, great. I mean, the thing is, I do actually like some of Drake's music.
Course.
I do. I have to admit that.
They're bops.
Yeah, they are. I'm not excited about an album, but if there's a great song that I hear from it, we'll listen to it. But I'm not excited that he's releasing music.
Yeah, I don't think that his reputation will fully recover from this after being sort of like the laughing stock of the Grammys. And literally watching like Beyonce, Taylor, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, every single person was on their feet cheering for Kendrick and just really seemingly happy watching the downfall of Drake.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's. Whew, that felt good to get that off my chest, actually.
I'm so happy for you. I feel like this is almost like a therapy session today.
This feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice. Thank you for listening to that story. I held that
Anytime.
one. It's time to get to the latest in the Blake, Ryan, and Justin Baldoni saga.
Yes.
So we now know that there was a hearing. Blake and Ryan had tried to, Blake, I guess, had tried to put a gag order on Justin and his lawyer from releasing any more evidence, from speaking to the media in the way that they had been.
Yeah.
And that was denied. And really, the hearing being on Monday was kind of irrelevant because Justin had released the entire evidence website on the weekend.
Website went live.
The website went live ahead of the hearing, which was
thelawsuit.com.
right.
Or something
like that. That might be the domain.
They had to pay for that domain.
Yeah, they did.
People were waiting to see what the judge was going to say. This is the first time that it's actually being sort of tried in court. And he's certainly not siding with Blake and Ryan.
No.
As they, I think, thought that he would. But he's also not siding with Justin. He did give them a warning. And he warned them that he would have to move up the court date to have it sooner if they were going to continue to try this in the court of public opinion and potentially sway future potential jurors that would serve on this case. So he wasn't happy. I think he called them all children, which they are, and gave them all a warning. So I don't think we're going to see a lot more being released from the Justin team.
I don't think so either. I mean, it was quite a move to get that website up before the hearing. It's like, oh, you want to gag us now? Well, go ahead. It's all out there.
Yeah, right. It's already been done.
It was already done. Now, it's interesting, though, because the next step in the proceedings are going to be discovery. And discovery is a chance for both sides to reveal their evidence and for each side to understand what the evidence that the other side has.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is Justin's kind of let it all out there. We don't really know what Blake has right now. So is that by design? Right now, the public opinion, as we've talked about, is very, very pro Justin, and Blake is the bad guy in this whole thing. Still not buying that. Can't wait to hear what you have to say. But is Blake holding back, or is her team holding back, just letting them go and then just seeing it all play out? And then are they going to come forward with more of their receipts?
Yeah. Some are saying, well, I think people assume that having played it this way, that they do have a smoking gun that they haven't revealed yet. That would make sense. It has to
make sense. That makes sense. And
if they don't, then this has just been
what are you doing?
Misplayed and misfired from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It does seem that they are absolutely still in flailing mode. We saw Ryan Reynolds out in the public on the streets of New York this past week with what everybody is saying is a staged paparazzi scene, right? He's leaving his New York apartment. There's a sea of people. They all have the exact same Deadpool Wolverine posters.
With the same tape on it.
The same tape, the same framing, and the same markers, as though someone from his team bought a package of markers from the dollar store, went here, 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 here. That is...
Be here at this time... And it did.
What are you doing, Ryan? Why? What are we thinking this is going to help? What, remind people that you're famous? We're good. Just go away.
And apparently they did go away. There was photos of them coming out of their apartment. He had a kid's puddle jumper attached to his suitcase.
But then
So then I don't know.
Maybe he sent her away with the kids. Maybe she needs a little mental health break, which is probably true. This is probably a lot. But I just don't understand. And back to, what we've said before, which is who's advising them? And can they get themselves a new team before this trial? Because somebody is giving them bad advice.
Very bad advice. And they need to stop, which they've not done. We've been saying that for a few weeks now. Just stop. I really do hope now that there is a bit of a lull in all of this and they can recalibrate and rethink their next move and maybe rethink this team, because it's just not working.
Yeah, because we've seen Justin go on his sort of staged paparazzi tour, right? When he was in Hawaii. He was at the airport and he was on the beach of Hawaii.
Looking like he hadn't eaten a carb in a month.
Literally. Nara carb. And that is, I think, a masterclass of how it's done, right? It was very natural. He looked great. It was staged, but it wasn't obvious. And then you have Ryan and Blake, who are not new to this. If anything, collectively, they have far more experience than Justin, and they are just really making a mess of everything.
A whole
What
mess.
not to do.
What not to do. Exactly.
I did go through that website in detail.
Dying to know where you're going.
There's so much going on. I'll keep it brief. My thing is this. We know that, and we've talked at length about Blake having these harassment allegations. And a lot of it has to do with language that Justin has used, using crude language and crude subject matter in conversation with her. Mm-hmm. In the website, we see a lot of back and forth, not just between Blake and Justin, but also between Ryan and Justin.
Yeah.
My take-home message is if anything, Blake and Ryan use far more crude language than Justin ever did.
The perineum?
The perineum. So we see a text message from Ryan. First of all, who writes text messages this long?
This is what I want to say. Okay, I have many thoughts on this. And
what? Because in God's name.
We talk a lot over text. We talk a lot through our devices. We do voice notes or we voice text.
Yes.
Okay? I have never written you a novel. And how you know he's physically doing the physical typing of it is because it's broken into paragraphs. Voice texting doesn't do that.
There are
indents.
Like,
there are indents. There's like new thought, new paragraph. Who has time to craft messages? And they both do it. It's like they both love the sound of their own voices, and they feel so. I'm reading this and I'm like, you guys think you're so smart.
It's so obnoxious.
The language you're using,
beyond
obnoxious. We get it. You've read a thesaurus.
It's so manipulative, but Justin does it too. I mean, his are lengthy as well, and especially his message to Ryan. You know, there's a lot of ass kissing there.
So much.
There's so much narcissism in it all. But Ryan, in one of his messages to Justin, when he's pleading for the production team to change the dates of the filming with Blake, basically says something along the lines of, I will tattoo whatever on
someone's face
on my perineum, which I had to look up, is
the undercarriage. You had to Google that?
Yeah, well, I was like, is that a part of the brain? And I was like, no, wait, I think
Did you get an image search of the perineum?
No, I didn't go to the image section, Danielle, thankfully. Thankfully, no photographs of perineum came up for me. Just the description that it is part of the undercarriage in the private parts.
Like, did you ever think there would be a world where we were talking about Ryan Reynolds' undercarriage?
No. And honestly,
how humiliating.
It's just, I get it. He's trying to be cute. Again, I think this is part of his manipulation tactic. This is what he does with people. He's kind of like, look, I'm just so cute. And I've got this like dirty humor. Okay. But you have launched a lawsuit against a man for using words and descriptions and subject matter that you felt uncomfortable with, but you yourself can use these descriptions and talk about these body parts with him, and it's no big deal. So, and then Blake, there's numerous new texts from her to Justin that use similar kind of sexy language. Yummy, talking
delicious.
About her character, that she wants the script to be yummy and sexy, and she's always talking about making
ball
it
busting.
Sexier. She says, we listened to that voice note last week when he says, I'm going to go off course and I'm going to upset you, but I'll always come back to what's best for the movie. And then we see her text response to that, which is 10 times harder than that, which says like, you'll see my beast will come out, but I'll always do what's best for the film. So they're equally talking like this to one another.
You're totally right.
If not, maybe Ryan and Blake like tip the scales a little bit harder. More. So I just think there's a lot of, as you said last week, cherry picking in what they and hypocrisy.
That's
what
it
they
is.
can and he can't.
Good for us, not good for you. Okay for us, not okay for you. You're right. And the language she used as well in that same text message describing her personality of being a ball buster. And it's always, it'll be yummy and delicious to watch this play out.
Yeah.
Always playful, never with teeth. That has lots of tone.
Very
lots
sexual undertones. So I guess in reading those, you know, I have staunchly been on Team Blake, not because I love her, but because I love women and I want to stand for women who say what they say and I want to believe them. I just think that there's a lot of double standards going on here. Obviously, we don't know exactly what went on, but I'm reading what I'm reading and I'm seeing them both play the same game.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're right.
That has tipped the scales a little bit for me.
It has.
Yeah.
And I want to say the same thing. I stand with women, especially women who are claiming that they were retaliated against for speaking out. You know, that is a very important piece here.
A close to home moment. And yeah, we want to give space for that.
We do. And I'm again,
holding
you're
the
right.
Finger of space for that.
Finger holding.
Also, some things that we saw on the website were text messages, not just between him and Ryan and Blake, but also between him and his production team. And you can see even before her harassment sort of HR moment where she had the list of demands. So before that happened, he was saying things to them like, I am so scared to say the wrong thing.
Yeah. And piss her off.
And piss her off.
Yeah.
So that gives also some light to how delicate the situation was with her, that she herself was retaliatory and that he was fearful of that. So again, messy, so much at play, and hopefully not that much more to come because I can't take any more. And I would like to say I want a 1 week free from this conversation. Okay? So if everyone could just control themselves.
You know what though? If you were a celebrity that had some kind of scandal, you should have released it in the last month and just let it get buried.
Honestly.
Because right now is not the time. If you're up to no good or you got some big news to drop, now is not the time because there's a gap.
To be honest,
there's a big old window.
Circling back to Beyonce and Jay-Z, I think the only way that he was able to show up at the Grammys, Jay-Z, after being accused of sexual assault late last year, is because and thanks to this drama burying everything deep.
I thought that. I was like, we have not heard anything about that Jay-Z thing in a minute.
No, because of
this,
the Blake and Justin saga that just will never end.
Okay, Callie, we have to talk about Britney and the biopic and the joy, even the idea of this is bringing me because I love Britney.
Oh.
This biopic is supposed to be based off her memoir, The Woman in Me. Did you read this? I knew you
Danielle,
did. You know I
did I read it? I have read every celebrity memoir twice.
It's my favorite genre. There's no better genre of a book. And this one, I really do believe Britney wrote it. And if you read it, I think you'd have to agree that
if
Britney
you know,
wrote
you
it.
know. If
you know, you know. So Jon M is attached to direct it, coming off massive success with Wicked.
Yeah.
So I love that. He has said he wants to do her story justice and he wants to do it right. She's going to be heavily involved. And I love that. If she's going to be in protective, good hands with her story, that is the only way that this works.
Yeah.
She's going to be involved in the casting, which I think is really interesting. And there's been lots of names. So some of the names that have been kicked around to play Britney have been Sydney Sweeney, Natalie Portman, who I think is just not the choice.
Natalie Portman, I'm sorry, she's aged out. Okay.
Not the choice. Sydney Sweeney's been in the mix. I think I saw Selena Gomez in the mix for a minute there.
Really?
The one that's looking right now anyway, very possible, is Millie Bobby Brown.
Well, I think what we're seeing actually is people are sort of subconsciously auditioning.
Yeah.
They're trying to plant the seed, being like, I could have this role. I think we saw headlines about Blake Lively when she wore Britney's dress to one of the premieres. People were saying, oh, she's doing this because she wants to be considered.
That's absolutely, I think we can say with all certainty. I would bet
out
my whole life on Blake Lively
absolutely
is not going to play Britney Spears.
Absolutely not. You know what I think could work, and I think this would be really great. There's the young woman who plays young Blake in It Ends With Us.
Okay.
And she was amazing in the movie. I mean, her portrayal of young Blake Lively, like doing all the mouth things and
so many mouth things.
Like her impression of Blake was spot on. I think she could probably nail this as young Britney. And I think people are talking a lot about the fact that this was her first movie and that really this opportunity has kind of been stolen from her because of the controversy. So I would like to go on record as saying, oh, I don't know her name, but I want young It Ends With Us Lily to be considered as young Britney because I think she's fantastic.
Okay, we'll put that one in the drawer. That's your pick.
Let's put it in the drawer.
I like the idea of Millie Bobby Brown. I also think Sydney Sweeney could do it really well.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think Sydney
Sweeney,
Sweeney,
and I really love her.
Is very underestimated as an actress.
I totally
think she's
agree.
an amazing actress. I think she's a chameleon. I think she can do justice for this, and I think it would be amazing to watch her embody that.
Yeah.
So I agree.
We will be going to the theater when this comes out together.
Oh, 100%.
This is a theater experience. Shall we go ahead and try and cast some of the other players in Britney's life just for fun?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Kevin Federline. If you could cast Kevin Federline in the Britney biopic, who are you putting in that role?
Okay. Hear me out.
Okay, let me get adjusted.
Just get comfortable. Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, come on.
Yes. Look at his
Wait a
face.
second.
Are you kidding me? Yes, with the facial hair?
It does have the right angles.
I mean, I'm just saying, picture it.
Is he dancing then?
Haven't you seen Timothy Chalamet dance?
Have I seen? No.
Are you kidding me?
Does he dance well?
Oh my God. Okay, wait. So we're going to put this on Instagram so that everybody can see. I'm going to post some examples of Timmy has like an alter ego like Sasha Fierce. He has an alter ego that has been demonstrated on multiple different platforms, on multiple different stages. He can dance, he can rap, he can lip sync. I'm telling you, this man can do it all. And I think that they resemble one another. Young Federline and Timmy Chalamet.
That's actually, at first I was like, there's no way. But now that it's actually not at all a bad call. You're not going to like my choice.
Okay. Wait, what is it?
I was just going to go with Glenn Powell because he's everywhere.
Glenn Powell.
And I feel like he's chameleon-y, and I don't know if he can dance, but I did see kind of similar features as well, like within the eyes and maybe in the nose a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Also, we had this, if we had Sydney Sweeney and we had Glenn Powell, they've already done a movie together.
The worst movie ever as far as I'm concerned.
It was really, really bad. But they did that whole sort of are they, aren't they romance in the lead up to the release. So I kind of love that mashup. Okay. I still like Timmy.
I actually am on Team Timmy now too. Now that you've explained it, it's a pretty strong choice.
We have to watch. I have to show you Timmy dance.
I absolutely need to see that. Okay, what about Britney's parents?
Okay,
Mama and Papa Spears.
I had a thought about this. So I'm thinking Lynn could be played by Connie Britton.
I love Connie Britton.
And then Connie's husband in that football show.
Oh, Kyle Chandler?
Kyle Chandler. First of all, Kyle Chandler really resembles Jamie Spears.
He does.
And I think bringing them back together would do good things for this movie as well.
Coach Taylor.
Should I be a casting director?
Wait, now I love Friday Night Lights because I love Taylor Kitsch. And now I'm wondering, is Taylor Kitsch the Kevin Federline?
Oh.
I love Taylor Kitsch. Yeah, okay. I do.
I feel like there's a story there.
No, I just do.
I don't know. You just lit up.
You
just lit up like Demi Moore at the Globes.
I just do. And
like a woman in love.
Randall knows. Everybody knows. I just do. Okay. So that actually works too. And I like that pairing. I was thinking Bradley Cooper as Papa Spears.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We could age him up a little bit if needed, but he's got the right kind of look-ish.
Yeah.
And I liked Sandra Bullock for Mama Spears.
Oh, I could see that.
Right?
Oh, we're going big box office.
Well, it's Jon M. Chu. He just had, he had Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande.
Movie.
So we can shoot for the stars here. We can get the budget for these big, big names if we need. Okay.
I'm into that.
Yeah, just some ideas. I'd actually love to hear what our listeners think. Yeah. And who you would cast as Britney, but also who would you cast as some of the other folks in the Britney world.
I think we also need a casting for Justin Timberlake, although I wasn't able to pinpoint somebody who would work. I think maybe one of the boys from the Monsters biopic on Netflix.
Okay.
You know, the brothers, the killing brothers.
The Menendez brothers?
The Menendez brothers.
The Machine Gun Brothers?
I think it's a shotgun. But yeah.
This is Machine Gun.
Yeah, you're right. But I meant
This
it was
is
just
shotgun,
I was just like a kickback moment. Yeah.
The murderer? What did you call the monsters?
The monsters.
Oh, they are the monsters.
I think that's what it's called.
So you want them to be released from prison and play... Sorry, just so I'm clear.
One of
you're
the
campaigning
actors.
for Lyle Menendez.
Yeah, release them. They must at once.
There's a lot of people who are looking to get those.
The
guys out
hot
of
Eva
jail.
Cottersons that played them,
Right.
I think could potentially play
The Timberlake.
Can
we get Kieran Culkin in this movie somewhere? I just love him so much. I want to see him everywhere.
I want to see him everywhere too.
He could actually Kevin Federline, you know.
I think he could do pretty much anything. But
Ooh,
you're
I
right.
love
He
this.
does have that. He's got like the big eyes. And
I don't want to say a rat face, but it is a ratty face.
It's what we're all thinking. Thank you for saying the words. You're really coming straight with the goods today.
I just
saying
feel-
what we're all feeling.
Yeah. I'm a little bit unhinged today.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it so much.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry. Well, I look forward to Super Bowling with you.
Yes.
I look forward to what the rest of this week brings in terms of entertainment news. And
It's gonna
thank
be a
you,
good one.
everybody, for listening, for laughing with us, for fighting with us, for just being here. We really appreciate it, and we love doing
you.
this.
We
love
want to
you.
hear from you as always. So
do.
send us your picks for the Britney stuff.
Yeah.
Come for us with our arguments.
And tell us why you don't like Drake. Okay.
And scene.
That's it. Bye. Mwah.